So home sales in the GTA have been at a 20-year low since May, and this typically leads to a big increase in inventory. When demand falls so significantly, we see a surge in active listings. And while listings have increased, they're still unbelievably low. Inventory is very low. Months of inventory fell from July to August. So there are not a lot of homes for sale. If you're an active buyer out there, you see a lot of not too many listings to choose from. So the question, of course, is, well, why aren't there way more homes on the market, given that demand is so low right now? And the answer to that question really depends on two things. The first is, how many homes are actually coming on the market and being listed. And of those homes, how many of them are actually selling versus just being taken off the market because the seller can't get the price that they want? Now, we can't do this analysis by looking at sort of traditional monthly statistics from the real estate board because it doesn't really tell us how many unique homes are coming to the market. A lot of times agents, when they have a property for sale, if they want to change the price, they will cancel the listing and relist it at a new price. And they might do that 2, 3, 4 times. And every time they do that, it gets counted as a new listing on the MLS statistics, even though it's really just one property. So we don't really want to double count properties. So I'm going to kind of walk you through sort of the analysis that I did to get some insight into kind of what's happening with these numbers. So I wanted to look at all the homes that got listed for sale between May and July of this year. So that is a 3-month period. And I'm specifically interested in the homes that were listed between May and July and were no longer available for sale at the end of August. So I wanted to give them some time to either sell or be canceled to know what happens to those properties. I'm not interested in the ones that are still listed for sale. For starters, not a lot of them. But also I wanted to do a year-over-year comparison to sort of keep things consistent. So I'm only looking at the homes that got listed between May and July that were no longer available for sale at the end of August. And when we sort of look at the unique or distinct homes, so we're not double counting here, this next chart shows the number of new listings that hit the market each over the past, since 2017 actually to today. And we can kind of see to start that the number of listings in particular for low-rise homes is quite a bit below historical trends. Condo market's a little bit closer in line with past trends, but the low-rise market is a little bit lower. So not a ton of listings, but that doesn't explain everything that we're seeing on the ground. The next question, of course, is, well, out of those ones that got listed and no longer available, how many of them sold, and how many of those listings or those homes were actually just canceled and taken off the market without selling? And this next chart shows the percentage of listings, both by houses and condos since 2017 and obviously to this year, of those listings that were actually canceled and didn't sell. And what we can kind of see from this chart is in 2022, just under 40% of low-rise homes that were listed between May and July were just taken off the market without selling. This is way above the previous few years, and is very close to actually the numbers that we saw in 2017. And I included 2017 in here because it's a very similar year where we had this rapid boom in home prices in 2016 and the first quarter of 2017, and then prices fell. So again, the behavior of sellers in response to declining prices appears to be quite similar, where more of them were just taking their homes off the market. Condos did not experience a rapid decline in prices the way low-rise did in 2017. So that's why far fewer were canceled in 2017 for condominiums. So when you look at condominium market, we can kind of see, I think it's around, about 45% of condo listings were canceled that were listed between May and July this year, which to me is a relatively high number. And again, a lot of this was just maybe investors not getting the prices they wanted, or sellers not getting the price they wanted, and they're just taking them off the market. So then the last thing I did was basically say, okay, out of all of these cancel properties, well, what did people do with them? Did they actually rent them on the MLS? Now, we don't know exactly how many of these canceled listings were rented in total, because we can only track the rentals on the MLS system, which a lot of condos and houses are listed on. But again, it's not all of them. But when we look at sort of the share of these listings that were canceled, what we find is a significant number of the condo listings were actually listed for rent on the MLS system. Just under 25%, about 24% of the condo listings were just rented out. And again, I think this is just condo investors responding to this strong rental demand and strong rents. And again, this ratio is far above previous years. And similarly, in the low-rise market, it's quite low. The percentage of low-rise homeowners who just rented their homes out, but it's above previous years. So what we're seeing right now are, homeowners or investors who are, considering selling, are very patient, taking their homes off the market, in some cases just renting them out because the rental demand is so strong. And I think this explains to us some of the dynamics that we're seeing on the ground, why we're seeing so many canceled listings, why we're not seeing a ton of inventory. And it at least also explains to us kind of how some investors are responding, that the fact that many of them are patient and holding on to their properties and just simply renting them out is an important dynamic. And I think, we'll have to see if that trend continues as we move into the new year. But that's an important factor that is impacting the inventory levels that we're seeing on the ground right now. I hope you found that video helpful. If you have any questions, post them below or send me an email at askjohn@movesmartly.com.